Tell you more about that as we get into the concert update coming up in about 15 minutes here. It's the Blade Radio Show, and CCR's hoid it. I hoid it through the grapevine. All right, I've got, welcome to the show. I've got Tommy DeCarlo. He's the lead singer of Boston, who joined on about 2007 or so after Brad Delp died. Remember, he died in 2007. It was horribly sad. What a great singing voice he has for ballads and for rock songs. We all thought that. And I guess Boston had a couple of singers. But Tommy joined on when his daughter set up a MySpace page. Because his voice sounds so much like Brad Delp's, and it does. And oddly enough, he'd always loved Brad Delp, and so sure enough, he went up for an audition, and he sang 2 songs, and they hired him on the spot. And his first show was at the tribute show for Brad Delp, which they did in 2007, and all the bands were there, right? And he sound checked for 2 songs. I think it was "Smokin' and Party," and then he didn't get a chance to do anything till he got on stage, since in front of thousands and thousands of fans, and it was his first time ever on a stage with so many people singing his hero, Brad Delp, and singing for Boston. What an experience that must have been. Tommy.
Blade, what's up, man?
Doing good. It's a beautiful day here in Phoenix.
Did you think from the very beginning that your Boston voice, your Brad Delp voice, was right on yourself? Did you think that, or did other people tell you that?
You know, I mean, I think as a singer, I singing that music, I guess I could say I thought that I kind of could sing along with Brad Delp pretty well, or I wouldn't have loud enough for anybody to listen to me. So people kind of make that comparison early on, and I thought that was a huge compliment. So the more I sang, at least when I sang Boston music, I would just dial into that tone. And truthfully speaking, when I hear Brad's voice and I hear mine, I hear a huge difference. I wish I could sing that good. I mean, he has one of the best singing voices, rock and roll singing voices that I've ever heard. And not only could he sing rock and roll great, but gosh, he sang ballads beautifully as well. So I was just amazed at what he could do at the microphone. And I've said this before, and I'll say it again and again and again. Brad Delp is the one who taught me how to sing, even though he never knew it. So,
yeah. So I guess you never met him, you know?
No, I did meet Brad Delp. Funny story. I met him. I was at it was my very first Boston concert, and it wasn't. I think it was in the '90s, and I never saw him before that. And I had made my way around to the back of the venue where the buses were, and I was among probably 2 other people. And we literally there was no barricade between us and the buses. I mean, we could have walked right back there, but we didn't, out of respect. We didn't want to get in trouble. But I saw the buses, and I saw the crew members and everybody kind of doing whatever they were doing. And then all of a sudden I see this Cadillac come backing up to the venue, and I see a real tall guy and then kind of a short guy. And I says, man, there's Tom Scholtz and Brad Delp. And I was probably maybe 50 yards from them. And I remember seeing them walking to the car, and they didn't see us. And I remember thinking, man, it's now or never. I'm either gonna say something or I'm not. And I don't know if I'll ever get this close to the band members again. So I remember Tom went around the other side of the car, and he got in first. Brad was making his way around to the car, and I just yelled. I says, hey, Brad, you guys were awesome tonight. And he stopped right there, looked up, looked at me. He put his duffel bag on the trunk of the Cadillac, and he came walking straight over to me. I says, oh, my gosh, here comes Brad Delp. And he walked straight up to me, and I shook his hand, and I says, man, you have the most amazing voice, I've ever heard. And he was just so thankful, and we talked for just a couple of minutes, and he was on his way, and that was the only time I got to meet him. So I think the amazing thing there is, of course, little did either of us know at the time we would have a connection later on in life, but I'm certainly proud of that moment that I got to meet him and say hello.
That's just love fan stories like that. I just love them every time. We're all fans, just like you, right? You know, and it just must be something when you're up there on the stage in front of thousands and thousands, and there's Tom Scholtz right beside you when he's been a hero of yours your entire life. I mean, I can't even imagine.
I can't tell you how many shows that I'll look over at Tom and I'll think to myself, he's the reason that everybody is here today for this show.
Yep.
You know, and I couldn't imagine how that must make him feel. That's, you know, I mean, he's created, you know, he's certainly helped me out, and it's been a blessing, you know, in my life. And I can only imagine, you know, how he must feel having done that for so many other people. Just, you know, so my hat's off to Tom for creating something totally amazing back in the 70s.
Me too, and all of us too, for sure. Tommy, Tom Scholtz of Boston. Let me get a move on here, man. It's just great to catch up.
I'll let you get on back, man, and we'll see you on down the road somewhere here. It's going to be a long summer for you.
Well, Blade, I appreciate the time, and you know, if you get, I know you were talking to Gail earlier, and we weren't quite sure if we were going to be playing out in your neck of the woods, but if something changes and we do, please let us know, and we'd be happy to have you out to a show.
I think that's terrific, and I'll take you up on that one day.
Good stuff. Okay, Blade. Well, you take care, and we'll talk to you later.
It's Tommy DeCarlo, lead singer of Boston, out on the road, big summer tour. And, gosh, I guess they're coming to Greensboro, and they're also playing it, Boston's playing it up in Cherokee, up the casino up in that area up there, too. But anyway, concert update with a ton of stuff coming to the area, like including Robert Plant. We'll talk about that in just a couple of minutes. I want to play some Robert Plant, a song from his current tour, a Zepp reshape, if you will, coming up in a few on Blade Radio Show. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. John Lee Hooker and Mr. Carlos David Deep Santana.